Imagine this. You're in a big, stuffy conference room. Your boss, a guy named Mr. Henderson who always seemed to enjoy his own reflection a little too much, is at the head of the table. He points a finger right at a junior employee, a quiet young man named Leo, and says, "Leo, you're fired." The whole room goes silent. Then, Henderson lets out a laugh, a cruel, booming sound that echoes off the walls. "Don't let the door hit you on the way out," he adds, and a few of his favorite employees join in with nervous chuckles. Leo doesn't say a word. He just stands up, his face pale, but his eyes holding a strange, unreadable glint. He collects his small box of personal items and walks out. He doesn't look back. And just like that, he was gone. No one heard from Leo again. His work friends tried calling, but his number was disconnected. His social media profiles vanished. It was like he had been erased from existence. Back at the office, life went on. Henderson promoted one of the people who had laughed the loudest. The company, a mid-level tech firm called Innovatech, had a few good years, then a few bad ones. The market shifted, competition got fierce, and soon, Innovatech was struggling to keep its head above water. Henderson, once so confident, now spent his days in tense meetings, trying to secure funding and stop the bleeding. The laughter in the office had long since faded, replaced by the quiet hum of anxiety. Years passed, about a decade, to be exact. The memory of Leo had all but disappeared, a forgotten ghost in the corporate machine. One morning, an email landed in every Innovatech employee's inbox. It was a company-wide announcement. The office building, the very same one where Leo was humiliated, had been sold. It wasn't just a floor or a wing. The entire skyscraper, a prime piece of downtown real estate, had a new, anonymous owner. Rumors started flying immediately. Who was this mysterious buyer? A foreign investment group? A rival tech giant looking to absorb them? The uncertainty was thick enough to cut with a knife. Henderson tried to put on a brave face, assuring everyone that it was just a simple real estate transaction and that their lease was secure. But you could see the fear in his eyes. He had lost control. The new ownership sent a representative to meet with the building's tenants. A sleek black car pulled up to the main entrance, and a sharply dressed woman stepped out. She introduced herself as the liaison for the new owner. Henderson, trying to reassert his authority, greeted her with a forced smile and an outstretched hand. "Welcome," he said. "I'm Mr. Henderson, CEO of Innovatech. I assume we'll be discussing the terms of our lease renewal?" The woman smiled, a cool, professional smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Actually," she said, her voice crisp and clear, "the new owner has other plans for this floor. Innovatech's lease will not be renewed. You have 90 days to vacate the premises." The words hit Henderson like a physical blow. Vacate? In 90 days? It was a death sentence for the company. They didn't have the capital or the time to find a new location and manage a move. This was it. This was the end. "Who is this owner?" Henderson demanded, his voice cracking. "Who would do this?" The representative simply replied, "The owner prefers to remain anonymous for now. All the necessary legal information is in this packet." She handed him a thick envelope and turned to leave. As she walked away, she paused and looked back. "Oh, and one more thing," she said. "The owner asked me to give you a message. He said to tell you, don't let the door hit you on the way out." It was like a lightning bolt shot through Henderson's memory. The conference room, the laughter, the quiet young man with the unreadable eyes. Leo. It couldn't be. It was impossible. But the message was too specific, too personal. The blood drained from Henderson's face. The quiet, forgotten junior employee he had fired and humiliated all those years ago had just bought the entire building from under him. While Henderson was busy climbing the corporate ladder and then desperately trying not to fall off, Leo had been quietly building an empire. He had used that humiliation not as a wound, but as fuel. He educated himself, invested wisely, and worked with a silent, relentless focus. He never forgot that day in the conference room. He never forgot the laughter. The news spread through the company like wildfire. The story was pieced together from whispers and old memories. Leo, the ghost from their past, was now their landlord, and he was evicting them. There was a strange mix of shock, fear, and for some of the older employees who remembered that day, a sense of awe. It was the ultimate comeback story. The quiet revenge wasn't loud or explosive. It was silent, strategic, and absolutely devastating. Leo never showed his face. He never made a grand speech. He didn't need to. The empty floor where Innovatech used to be was his statement. He had bought the very stage of his humiliation and cleared it. What happened to Henderson? He was ruined. The company folded, and he lost everything. He became a footnote in a story that wasn't even about him anymore. It was about Leo. The story of Leo became a local legend in the business community, a cautionary tale for arrogant bosses and an inspiration for anyone who had ever been underestimated. It was a powerful reminder that the quietest people in the room are often the ones you should pay the most attention to. They're the ones listening, learning, and planning. And sometimes, years down the line, they're the ones who come back and buy the building. It just goes to show you, success isn't always about being the loudest person in the room. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply building a life so successful that your past bullies become irrelevant. And in Leo's case, he didn't just become successful. He became the one who held all the cards, turning his greatest humiliation into his ultimate triumph. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content just like this. See you in the next video.